Mondays, and she and I are friends, and I called her and I went, hey, want to be on the show? And she said, sure. Thought maybe I could get her into the studio, but she had other things, so she'll be on the phone with us this evening. So if you want to call in, give a call. We're happy to do a couple of readings, but in the interim, it'll be she and I chit-chatting, and you get to listen in. All right, then. Ken, if you're ready, you want to connect Jill? Thank you. Hello, Miss Jill.
Hello, wonderful Halley. How are you?
I'm good. What's doing, honey?
It's so good to be with you.
Thank you. A little different from social, huh?
Oh, it's true, but when we're on the air together, you've been on my show several times.
Right.
And whenever we're together on the air, and I've been on your TV show, it's always a delight. We get along. It's like we connect.
Yes, we do.
We do. It's such a great connection.
Well, it's unlikely that anybody doesn't know who you are, but why don't you give a little background for maybe the one or two people at a different place who just haven't been around, and let them know about what you do.
What do I do?
What do you do?
I've been intuitive my whole life, and I've been speaking with people since I was 6 years old on radio. Started on radio at 6, television at 13, and at 13 I made a major prediction, which I predicted the Hanafi Muslim attack in Washington, D.C.
Right.
To the date, and that put me in the book Ghost, which is an ESP, along with Edgar Casey and an amazing intuitive, may she rest in peace, Sybil Leek.
Yeah.
Then I went off to the Presleys, and we were with the Presleys family, and City TV in Toronto, and, you know, these are all going on and making predictions. And on City TV, that was back in, I think it was 89, 90. The second time I was on, I made the prediction about stem cell and cloning. And I said, watch and see for years ahead. And that's what's going on now.
True.
They're using stem cell.
Very true.
And back then, right after I said about the cloning, Canada started the cloning. It was, right after I said it. So those were, I started making predictions. But then when I was going back before City TV, when I was 15, I used to go on the radio on WIOG with my mom and Larry King, and I would talk to people about love and relationships. And that's when I started making all these marriage predictions. And people that were older than me, I'm 15, and people that were in their 30s and 40s, they were getting married from what I would be saying to them.
Right.
Who they were going to meet, and I used to tell them to change their way they dress and walk in. I was talking about The Secret back then before The Secret came out.
Exactly.
And, I would say, you have to go in, you'd have to walk in where you're, self-confidence and dress this way and walk in like you're the best, and that look when you walk through the door. And next thing you know, they started meeting people and getting married and having relationships, and also talking about healthy relationships. So then the marriages started going up, and I went on Geraldo about missing people. I solved, there was 5 cases, and there was 3 of them that I had solved on the Geraldo case, on Geraldo show. And, I've been on many shows, predicted all the sports, and I said Miami's going to win again, go to the championship, and so far they're number 2 in line right now. And I've been on all the sports channels, TV channels.
You've been all over the place, basically. We could take that line and say something, but I don't think it's the right show for that.
And I could go, this will be like a 5-hour show. Or
right,
more.
Exactly. So I'm going to stop you right there and say, you're not limited to, and this is why I'm glad you were giving all that background, you are not limited to just predicting romances or relationships or marriages. You also do a little bit of teaching by sharing and letting people know how they can change their life, when you talked about The Secret, for instance. But the fun thing is the relationships, because so many people come to us for what reason? to find out about relationships and find out, is he ever coming to come back, or should I go somewhere else, or what to do. And it's kind of fun when you give a prediction and then the person calls you a little while later and invites you to the wedding. I think what I find so amusing about your predictions is you really have to stock up on wedding gowns and shoes. It's a good thing you like to shop because you're always going to weddings.
Always going to weddings, always going to weddings. And there's a lot of people out there that always say, I'm always a bridesmaid, or I'm always a maid of honor,
right.
And I want to be the bride. And everything, I always tell people, everything is timing. It's
Absolutely.
all timing.
Absolutely.
This year alone, I just got another invitation in the mail today, and there's another person that is going to be announcing on Facebook at the end of May, because they don't want everyone to know yet. But they're getting married. There's 44 weddings from last December.
Wow.
December that I predicted, and I put it on JillDaneBlogspot.com, some of the weddings that are coming. That's the fun thing. I love
that's it.
Learn love. And a lot of times, you pick the wrong marriage, you pick the wrong relationship.
Absolutely.
And you keep them too long. And that's where you have to, once they see that it's not going where it's supposed to go, or if it's a one-sided relationship, it's time to cut the cord, close the door, and move forward and meet someone right.
Well, it's kind of fun, too, the fact that somebody can come in and say, when am I going to find somebody and what's their name? And you say, okay, well, the person's name is John. And they're like, no, that's going to be my ex-boyfriend. His name is John. And you're like, no, there's another John. And then sure enough, they end up meeting another John or a Michael or a Sam or whatever it is, and they come back. What I think is kind of cool, though, is we were talking when we were out about, I'm trying to remember what it was, but I believe it was somebody with an odd name. And you had mentioned that they would meet this person, and sure enough, they did. And it wasn't here in the States. I think it was when we were speaking about Israel. And
Israel.
Yes, and you were mentioning about, they would meet them in Israel, and they did, and they made that connection. So I don't know, we may just have to start calling your show Jill Dane's Love Connection instead of Psychic Jill Dane.
Yeah, just like Melinda Bernstein, her daughter Jennifer was dating this other person. This was like 4 years ago.
Right.
And I saw them I met and had coffee with them at Starbucks so I could see her daughter for the first time. And I said, no, that's not the person you're going to marry. And she was crazy about this person at the time. And I said, and this is another one. I said, you're going to meet the person in Israel. And that's where she met him, the name I gave her. And they're getting married on May 22nd down here in Florida, in Miami.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, so...
I think it's gratifying anytime any information that we forecast comes through, but especially when it has to do with romance. I had a client in the office, because about a couple of weeks ago, she's been in and out over the year, and she had broken up, excuse me. So sorry. She broke up with a gentleman she had been with for a long time and wanted to know about meeting somebody else. Next thing you know, I had said something about meeting somebody in an unlikely situation. So not necessarily a bar or even a party or anything, maybe a parking lot or a grocery store or whatever. So she calls me to tell me that she met somebody in a parking lot. He is actually an attorney, and everything's going well. So as I said, it's really fun to hear that feedback. Not that it's necessary, because I don't know about you, but I get a lot of people that say, oh, I'm sure you need validation. And I don't think they realize that, no, I've been doing this for a long time, like you have, since childhood. So it's not a matter of needing validation. It's more a matter of being excited about good news. How do you feel about that?
No, it's more about being excited that they're in love. Right. Everyone at the moment is like unhappy until they find love. And honestly, I don't care about validation. To me, I don't care about that. I care about two people, they find love, they're happy, they're marrying the right person. A lot of people just get married to get married, and that's not what you're supposed to do. You get married for love.
Exactly.
You get married for all the right reasons. And when you do find that, that's what makes me happy. I don't have to hear, oh, Jill predicted my marriage and it happened. I like to hear, oh my God, I'm in love and Jill said I would be.
Exactly.
That's what I love to hear.
Exactly.
That's what makes me happy.
And again,
You know,
I think
and
it's apropos to other predictions as well. If you say to somebody, don't let your child drive on, next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I just feel something's coming up and they're safer at home, and you end up finding out that there was a bad accident on the road that they normally travel, and because they did not go out those particular days, that all is well. So that's really exciting, too, to hear that somebody is safeguarded. It's interesting when 9/11 was coming, and I don't know if you ever heard the story, but I'll share real quickly because it was just so funny. The night before, I was packing because my meditation book was coming out, and I was meeting my cohort in crime, and we were going to meet in New York and do some brainstorming about marketing and whatever. Anyways, that night before, I kept hearing, take your phone book. Now, I have one of these massive phone books that I've had for years, and I thought, no way, I'm not taking my phone book. That's ridiculous. It weighs more than a suitcase. I don't need it. All the numbers I have are in my phone that I need. That's it. And I hear, take the phone book. And I'm fighting. I'm hearing this voice saying, take the phone book, take the phone book, and I'm going, no, no, no. So probably about midnight, I'm done packing, and I'm getting ready for bed, and I hear, as if somebody had one of those foghorns, take the phone book. So I go ahead, and I get the book, I'm like, fine, I give up, I acquiesce, I'm putting it in the suitcase, and I'm going to put it in the middle of the suitcase, and I hear, put it on top. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I go ahead, and I put it on the top so that all I have to do is open one zipper to get to it.
Right.
Good thing, because we were headed into New York at the time that the second plane was in the process of hitting the building, and we were supposed to be landing at that point, and the pilot basically waylaid us because, we didn't have a choice, and we ended up being diverted to Atlantic City. And when we landed, because the phone systems being all crazy, because of security being all crazy, because of just the chaos, there was no way I could use my cell phone. All the towers were busy, and you couldn't get a call out. Not only that, but landing in Atlantic City gave me an opportunity to meet with a friend of mine who I hadn't seen in years, who had been remarried, and I didn't recall her last name. If I didn't have the phone book, I would have never found her. So here I go. I unzip my little case, I take out my book, and I'm laughing in my head because I'm going, I should know better. Listen. And I always tease, when I do my programs, that you may know things and hear things and see things and experience things, but you're still human. And there is that occasion that you kind of like, oof, it just flies off and you don't pay attention. So I'm kind of grateful that I did pay attention. It seems when it comes to myself, I sometimes debate, but when it comes to something of major importance, I always listen. When it comes to other people, there doesn't seem to be any argument.
That was your inner intuition saying, take the phone book.
Exactly. But it was a hoot because I share the story because it's so true. It must have gone on for hours and hours and hours, and I kept going, no, 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 and ultimately listened and took the darn thing. But as I said, it was perfect the way it turned out. It was also perfect in the sense that, that I do meditation classes and stress management and whatever, and people obviously were all freaked out because when we got off the plane, there were monitors showing what was happening in New York, and everybody was flipped. And I had the opportunity to grab a cluster of people and say, come here, calm down, kind of direct them. And it was cute because when it was pretty much at the end of the day, after the photographers from the newspapers were there and the police were around the place, one of the ladies says to me, what do you do for a living? You're just way too calm. I said, yeah, stress management's one of my things. So, being in the right place at the right time. And I think that's very apropos for the work we do. It is not just sharing information or just predicting some portent of what the future is, but also to actually help people, to guide them, to give them confirmation of things that they've been contemplating, but perhaps weren't 100% about it.
Right.
And I think we really have to clarify that the psychics on the side of the road with the big hand that says psychic or, come on in for a 5-minute reading for $10 isn't always what they're cracked up to be.
Well, I personally don't like those hand things, because,
right.
Everyone, just because someone's going through a bad time in their life, and some people are, there's some people that are not going through a good time in their life.
Right.
So they may be a little gullible, and they go to those hands, and those hand people sit there and say, oh, because you have evil spirits or bad luck, and so you have to we have to light the candles, and you have to give this amount of money, and because they think because this and this happens in their life, that maybe that's what it is, and that's not true. Like I say, everything is timing. I could recall back when I made the prediction, and I told all my real estate brokers and my mortgage brokers, I said, you guys, there's going to be a major real estate crash. And, I know they got property pre-construction and at good prices, and they put all their money in it. And I said, if you could hold on to it till 2013, then you do it. Otherwise, I want you to start flipping them right now. If you could rent them out, because they're not going to be what they're worth.
Right.
So 2013, 14, and 15, then, hold on to it. Otherwise, sell. And so some listened, and I remember 2 of the real estate brokers didn't listen. And she came to me, and she said, Jill, someone did something to me. They must have put a star. I said, there is no. I said, but the real estate crash, okay, and I warned you in advance. That's what's so good about having intuition. And everyone out there has intuition.
Exactly.
But you have to follow your intuition. You can't second guess it. And so I said to Marlene, her name is Marlene, I said, Marlene, you didn't sell like I told you to. And I said, there was a real estate crash. It's not that you have bad luck, and it's not that you have evil spirits around you. And nothing of that sort at all.
No.
It's a real estate crash.
Well,
So
it's choices.
it
And I'm sure you tell your clients as well. We can give you information, but if you don't accept to listen to it, you choose something else, then you have to be accountable for your choices.
Exactly. Just like, I'm a medical intuitive. I'm not a doctor.
Exactly.
I always say, when I see something, I'll say, you know what, go confirm with your doctor.
Right.
I am not a doctor. I'm a medical intuitive. I've saved many lives as a medical, solving medical puzzles, if I could say. I solved a rabbi in Israel. He loves me so much. Matter of fact, I just got off the phone with him 2 days ago, that when I told him, I said, you know what? I was heading to New York, and I said, Rabbi, get to the doctor now. And he goes, I can't, it's Shabbat. And I said, forget Shabbat. I'm feeling, my heart started pounding.
Right.
And he's like, but Jill, I can't drive. I said, I don't care. And finally he listened, and his wife drove him. And I was flying into New York on a 6 o'clock plane. And I said, have someone call me between 9:30, 10, 11, around that time frame, and I'll answer the call. And the doctor and the wife called me to thank me. He had a 3 bypass surgery with the valves.
Wow.
Now, I'm not saying if he didn't get to the hospital right then, but maybe a day after, he could have had a heart attack.
Exactly. But again, it's a matter of them listening. Speaking of listening, we need to take a little bit of a break, so hang in there. And everybody listening in, if you like, call into the show, and you're going to laugh. I went blank on the number. What is the 888 number? 888-565. 888-565. 1470, just like AM 1470. So if you like, give a call and we can do a quick little ditty, a little reading over the phone. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Times are tough, and right now those in the commercial world know that being heard via advertisements is the name of the game. AmpSquare.tv understands how important advertisement is and is proud to express that it's truly the only plugged-in internet television production company on the market. Amp2.tv live streams all their shows across all the major selling markets in the U.S. and abroad. Call them at 866-224-5422. The AmpSquare.tv library allows productions to be seen over and over again, making commercial platforms more usable. Call 866-224-5422. Toll free 866-224-5422. Amp2.tv, the first and only internet television network that's truly plugged in. 866-224-5422. That's AMP2.TV. You're listening to Empowerment Psychic Halley Elise, and she invites you to visit her website for more information about all that she does at HalleyElise.com. Now, back to your host, Empowerment Psychic, Halley Elise.
Hello there and welcome back. It sounds like the phone is ringing. I think that might be for us, so we'll find out in a moment. Let's see. I'm watching Ken in the control room. That's too funny. The phone number says 885-65147 on the screen. It should be 888. We're missing a number. It's all right. We're having fun. Jill, you are on, right?
I'm on.
Okay, just making sure. It's a little chaotic here. Something new. Anyways, we have a call. You want to put it through, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, this is Halley Elise. Who are we speaking with?
Raymond.
Can you turn the volume up? Can't hear him. Can you speak up, sir?
Raymond.
Did you say Ramon?
Raymond, yeah.
Hi, Raymond. How are you?
Fine.
What is your question? We'll let Jill Dane answer for you.
What is my marriage life looking like?
Jill, did you catch that?
What is he saying?
Okay, I didn't catch it either.
Didn't catch it.
All right, let's see if
I
the
can
headphones
hardly-
work. Okay, you want to try it again?
What is my marriage life looking like?
What does your mind's eye look like?
What is my married life in the future look like?
Okay, thank you. Jill, he said, what does his marriage life in the future look like?
That could be like an hour here.
Well, you only have about 3 minutes, honey, so try to give the gentleman some feedback quickly.
Your name is Ramon?
Yes, his name is Ramon.
Raymond.
Raymond, sorry.
Raymond. Okay, Raymond. And what is your birthday, Raymond?
Raymond, what's your birthday? 1 more time?
10/16/56.
7/15? 7/16?
No, 10/16/1956.
That's right.
56. Oh, there's Raymond. Raymond, there's going to be 2 individuals, Raymond, that I see coming in your life. Raymond?
Yeah.
And one is going to be a Capricorn. There's 2 individuals, and there's one that's going to be a Capricorn that I see for future that will be a marriage.
Well,
there's been a rocky
I'm already
road,
married. I'm already married, so I want to know what my...
No, what I'm saying is there's been a rocky road, communication-wise, for the past, you could say, 3 years. If there's a marriage right now, and I still see another marriage coming in. I don't see whoever you're with at this moment. I don't see that for future. I still see a Capricorn coming in.
Okay, I see.
Thank you for your
Okay.
call, Raymond. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Sometimes not what you want to hear.
No, I get that a lot as well. I'm going to take the headphones off because it sounds funny listening to myself. And I can hear you just fine in the studio here.
Yeah, I can never use the headphones.
No, I don't like there's some sort of, echo. And there's echo as it is. So it triples the echo. Anyways, for people to get a hold of you, they can contact you via JillDane.com, yes?
JillDane.com.
And you have a blog, yes? Or a blog
Jill-
post?
Yeah, JillDaneBlogspot.com. And
Okay.
they can find me on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook.
All the regulars.
The regulars, everything, just they can find me on there.
Okay. And I want to let them know that, like myself, you have no qualms with talking with people over the phone, out of the country, out of the state, so they don't have to be local. They don't have to come to you directly for you to be able to read for them.
No, I have clients in Abu Dhabi, China. I have them all over the world, so no. I just got off the phone with Africa, so I have no issues.
That must have been
all
fun.
over the world.
I love the idea of
and
talking.
And everybody to me, even on the phone or in person, it's the same. It's the same thing to me if you're
Right.
sitting right in front of me.
Right. Everybody always asks the question, is it the same? And you say yes, absolutely. Okay, so listen, I'm so glad that you could call in this evening. It was kind of, one of those impromptu, because I'm kind of doing Psychic Mondays on the third week of the month, but my lady for tonight was unavailable. I thought, let me call Jill. So it worked out great. Once again, you can reach Jill via JillDane.com or Facebook or Twitter, LinkedIn, all the fun stuff. As to me, please be sure to join me for the Psychic Gallery the first Monday of the month. Third Monday of the month here, we will be doing the psychic thing, and look forward to some interesting guests because we have the metaphysical, the spiritual, and the psychic. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Bye, Jill.
Be enchanted and delighted. Connect each week here on WNN for the Halley Elise Show. Also on Facebook and at HalleyElise.com. Thanks for tuning in. The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.